Hi, I've run quite a lot of power level 160x4 missions solo. I usually run them with a Constructor loadout, but this time I thought I'd do something different. I'm going to run this in private, and instead of using a Constructor, I'm going to use a Ninja loadout. So in the lead here, I have Stoneheart Farrah with the Cupid's arrow. So her arrow splinter when they hit opponents, totally rocking out so that I do lots of crits, fumble and battle beat to activate the totally rocking out, sure shot, quick scope, locked and reloaded, all of which will buff the bow, and adrenaline rush and stationary hover turret as my gadgets. So we've loaded into the mission. First thing to do is try and find the van. The location of the van when trying to solo a mission without a Constructor is quite important. And there it is on the back of this maze. So the straw man there, when you shoot him, as you can see, drops a lot of herbs. It's a very quick way of getting quite a lot of herbs. And also within the maze you'll find chests and ammo boxes too. Okay, so the van looks like it's quite easily defendable from the back, and I can see the spawn points, and they're down primarily down some slopes, so it should be relatively easy to build some choke points and block off where I need to. So you can use a standard build of walls with doors in them so that smashers don't charge at them and propanes don't throw their tanks at them. Build it out to a nice big square. All around the top here I'm going to place floors, and I'm going to use those to hang tire traps from. And then above that another set of walls, still with the doors in them because the smashers and propanes will target up to 3 tiles in any direction, including vertically. And I'm just going to cap that off with some more floors. Now I'm going to upgrade all of the materials up here because I don't have a Constructor to provide any sort of damage resistance to the walls and no healing either. And up the top here I'm going to place some anti-air traps. These are double damage, double reload, durability, heals build attached. They don't do enough damage to kill a husk straight away, but they will damage a husk, so hopefully anything that gets up there I can deal with relatively easily. And then these lower walls I'm going to upgrade to tier 3. Then around the floor here, I'm going to place down some floors, and they will have freeze traps put on them later on. If you've seen other of my videos, you'll know that that's my pretty standard defense for immediately around the structure. Okay, looking for where the husk's going to spawn. I'm going to block this off using this wooden stair trick that was developed by Hubo. That's now actually been patched from version 21 or chapter 3 season 3 for BR, so that will no longer work, but at the time of recording this that still worked. There is a new block off of equal efficiency that has been designed by a chap, I believe his name is Packy, P-A-K-Y. I'm still doing some testing on how good that is at the moment, but early indications are good, and once I've finished testing that, you'll probably see that used in future videos of mine. Okay, the husks that are spawning down the bottom, we've blocked them off from running up the back way. Now we need to block them off from coming up this front way, remembering that we're not necessarily interested in killing the husks in these kind of defenses. What we're interested in doing is stalling the husks for long enough so that they despawn of their own accord. So because of that, rather than putting in straight block off that they'll just bash, I'm going to put some traps in here to slow the husks down, so they have to walk quite a distance to get round to the van, so that by the time they get to the van, their despawn timer has almost expired and they don't have time to do anything to the van. So place some walls again with the doors in them, and then just a line of floors across and a second line behind them. I'm going to be super cheap here and just use these power level 77 traps. These are double reload, triple durability. Again, not to kill the husks, but to slow them down. And then just going to clear out this space so that I can see what's going on around and replenish some of the resources. Couple of wooden walls here just to dissuade any husks from trying to walk around that backside. And now I'm going to fetch some blue glow. Need 4 blue glow in total, 2 for each wave. And now I'm back, so again I'm going to block this ramp off using wooden stairs. I'll just remind you again, this has now been patched. It does not work as of version 21 or chapter 3 season 3 in VR speak. Okay, so a few husks might wander around this side, so I'm going to just add a ceiling there ready to put a drop trap in. But I think most of them will come up this ramp here, so I think this is where I want to actually allow them up. Just got knocked there by that ball. So I'm using metal here. I know it's a nature storm and nature husks do double damage to metal, but I don't see a reason why any husks will be trying to bash these structures, so I can get away with using metal here. I've used a lot of brick and a lot of wood for this whole season really, and so having an excuse to go and farm some cars to get some mechanical parts seems like a good enough reason to me to build a few bits out of metal. Okay, so using floor freeze traps here. These are power level 144. You don't necessarily need to use power level 144. They are double reload, double durability, effect duration, and they have directionality on them, so the way that you place them dictates which way the husks will be pushed when they unfreeze. Same with the ceiling drop traps. They are exactly the same perks on all of these. They are the same as the power level 77. It's just 144s around the outside of the structure and then 106s the further layer back, and as I radiate out I will go down to the lower power levels each time. And they are there to slow the husks down. Again, not necessarily going to kill a lot of the husks, just try and slow them from getting to the structure until they despawn. So to handle some additional damage, I'm going to put those ceiling electric fields. I don't have a constructor with base to provide any armor to my walls or to provide any healing to those walls either, so I need to make sure that the husks are dealt with as quickly as possible. I can of course run around and manually heal, but by using these electric fields they will damage the husks, and by placing them 2 tiles up it means that if a propane does detonate it won't damage the traps and they will continue to fire. Okay, just going to deal with these other husks, do a little bit of farming, get back some of those resources. It's quite expensive building. And here we go for the first wave. Okay, I'm standing away from the van, and as you can see there is a blaster that has just ignored those wooden ramps and walked up anyway. But the smaller husks are having to go round further. There's an odd couple of husks that are spawning from that tendril that's at the top of the ground there. There's nothing I can do about those. But the vast majority of them are being forced to walk that little bit extra distance around. And then the ones from the west that are walking up that ramp there are getting pummeled by those other drop traps, which is slowing them down. Okay, I can hear a smasher, so I want to stay away from the van. I do not want the smasher charging at me and hitting the van by accident, so if I stay out of the way, it's not going to. That dinosaur is likely to cause a problem. It's gone running straight towards the van, and although the smasher isn't going to charge directly at the van or the walls around it, it might charge at that dinosaur. The disadvantage of not having a banner is that I have to now get back to the van quickly after respawning, and the van has taken some damage. So I need to find out where the walls have gone, and it's exactly as I thought. It's where that dinosaur went wandering off to. I don't think the husks would have walked up the stairs and just attacked that piece anyway, because they generally will walk in a straight line unless they find an easier route. So they must have been chasing after that dinosaur. Fortunately, after the first wave, the van will be restored back to full health, so as long as I make it through this wave, should be fine. You can still hear that smasher wandering around. But as you can see there, it didn't charge for the van. Right, so we've made it through the first wave, and it looks like the second wave spawn points are all around this south and west of this plateau that the van is sat on, which is not ideal, to put it mildly. There's no choke points where I can focus traps or block off. They are going to spawn all around there and just come pouring in a big wave. I could build a whole load of block off, and then the husks will just smash through it anyway. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend out these floors, and I'm going to hang a bunch more traps from them, following the same general principle of trying to stall. A few of them are still going to spawn down at the bottom where they on the west side, so the existing drop traps that are there will continue to slow those down. Using some tier 1 wooden walls here just to break up some of the sight lines. This will cause the husks to walk slightly further. They're not directly blocked off, so they shouldn't have a reason to just smash their way through. I'm not asking them to walk more than a tile or so out of their normal path. It just means that when I've got things like zappers and blasters, they are not going to have such an easy time of just randomly shooting. So a load more tyre traps, paying attention to the direction in which I'm placing them so that the husks get pushed the way I want them to do. Just a ring of those just to initially slow husks down. And then in front of the walls I'm going to place more tyres, but then I'm leaving gaps in between, and I'm going to fill those gaps with some more electric fields. So combination of slowing and damaging husks. And there's no need to use, tier 3 structures. Those tier 1s will stop a shot just as well as a higher level one. These traps seem to have plenty of durability left on them as well, so I don't need to replace those. So I'm using a lot more traps than I normally would, because I need to kill a lot more of the husks, because I can't rely on the base to protect the structure. But I think I'm ready for wave 2. Another 4 minutes. There we can see Totally Rocking Out is going off. That means husks are getting killed, which is good. I can hear a flinger, so I need to go and find that flinger quickly. One unfortunate downside of trying to record and using a lot of ceiling tire traps is my FPS takes a massive hit. The mini boss is spawned as well. I'm going to stay away from the mini boss. And a taker has come out of nowhere and just wiped out all of my health. Okay, the van's taken some damage. Stick a wall up quickly again. And once again, a taker has knocked me over now, unfortunately, because I've just revived myself. I now have to respawn and wait for the respawn timer and get back. So I can hear a flinger who is doing quite a lot of damage to the van, but I need to deal with that wall first just to make sure that's not gone down. And now deal with the flinger. Okay, taking out quite a lot of the structures up here. I don't have time to do anything too pretty. I'm just going to put on a bunch of ablative layers. Less than a minute to go now. Van is at around about half health, which looks like a lot, but it wouldn't take much if a wall went down for the husks to destroy it completely. So again, just almost spam building a bunch of walls just to make sure there's plenty of layers to slow the husks down. And I need to respawn again quickly. Just 30 seconds left on the timer. Can't hear any flingers, which is a good thing. Last 10 seconds. And of course, immediately knocked over again by another taker. But fortunately, managed to succeed. So there we go. That's how to solo a power level 160x4 Ride the Lightning mission without a constructor. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.